In today's session, I have planned to discuss about a very important device known as MCG, Moving Coil Galvanometer. Right. Here is a device of moving coil galvanometer. This moving coil galvanometer is basically used to detect an electric current in a circuit. And this moving coil galvanometer can be converted into voltmeter and ammeter. If this galvanometer is connected in series with a high resistance, the galvanometer can be converted into voltmeter. If this galvanometer is connected in parallel with a small resistance, shunt resistance, then galvanometer becomes ammeter. Yeah, we have an ammeter here, which is basically converted from galvanometer, and we have voltmeter, which is also basically converted from galvanometer. So it's very clear that the galvanometer can be converted into ammeter and galvanometer can be converted into voltmeter. Voltmeter is a device used to measure potential difference between 2 points, 2 terminals across a cell when the cell is used in the circuit. And ammeter is a device which is connected in series with the circuit to measure the current in the circuit. Fine. So ammeter and voltmeter are basically converted from galvanometer. Fine. We have understood the use of galvanometer. It is used to detect an electric current in a circuit. Let us try to learn about the principle of galvanometer, the construction of the galvanometer, the working of galvanometer, and the theory of galvanometer. Fine. What is the principle behind the galvanometer? Whenever a current carrying coil is kept in the magnetic field, the coil experiences a torque. I repeat, when a current carrying coil is placed in the magnetic field, the coil experiences a torque. Let us see the construction of galvanometer. The galvanometer contains 2 concave poles of magnetic field, and it also contains a current carrying rectangular coil, and the coil is connected to a pointer, and it is connected to a small spring, and in the coil a soft cylindrical iron core is kept. So let us see the construction part of moving coil galvanometer. We have 2 concave poles of a magnet. This is the north pole, and here is the south pole of a magnet. Here a radial magnetic field is produced. This is a uniform radial magnetic field which increases the sensitivity of the galvanometer. This radial magnetic field is used here, which always keeps, this radial magnetic field always keeps the plane of the coil parallel to the magnetic field. Why radial magnetic field is used here? It is used to keep the coil, the plane of the coil, parallel to the magnetic field. Fine. So here is a radial magnetic field, and a soft iron core, and here is a rectangular current carrying coil, and the end of the coil is connected to a pointer, The end of the coil is connected to a pointer. Here is a pointer, aluminium pointer. There is an aluminium pointer. The aluminium pointer is attached to the rectangular current carrying coil, and the pointer is made to move on a scale. Here is a scale. There is a scale. On the scale, divisions are graduated 0 to 30 degree or 0 to 50 degree. So every division reads 10 degree or 5 degree or 1 degree. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, like that. So this pointer moves on the scale whenever the current passes through the coil, and the coil is kept in the magnetic field. Fine. See, the construction is, there are two concave poles of magnetic field, and there is an aluminium pointer, rectangular coil, soft iron core, and a spring. Fine. Now let us see the working part of this moving coil galvanometer. As all of us learned that here is a concave magnetic poles, north and south, and here it is shown the vertical view. If you see the horizontal view, the coil will be like this. This is the rectangular coil. This is the rectangular coil. So this coil is a current carrying coil, and a soft iron core like this. Here is a soft cylindrical iron core. This is placed here like this. There is a soft iron core, cylindrical core, whose one end is connected to the rectangular coil. The other end is connected to spring, and the spring is connected to the rectangular coil like this. So here is a spring, and the spring is connected to the rectangular coil. The other end of the coil is connected to the aluminium pointer. And the pointer is made to move on the scale. Fine. Here is a radial magnetic field. Here is a radial magnetic field. And this radial magnetic field keeps always the plane of the coil parallel to the magnetic field, and always the coil experiences maximum torque. Fine. Yes, just now we learned that the principle of the galvanometer, that's whenever a current carrying coil kept in the magnetic field, the coil experiences a torque. Torque is equal to mb sin theta, where m is the magnetic moment of that rectangular coil. This rectangular coil, current carrying coil, whose magnetic moment is m, and b is the radial magnetic field, whose direction is always parallel to the plane of the coil, or whose area vector and the magnetic field always perpendicular. So torque is equal to mb sin theta, and m we know that is NIA, magnetic moment, b, and theta is always 90 degree. Theta is always 90 degree. The direction of the magnetic field and the direction of the area vector are always perpendicular, or the plane of the coil always parallel to the magnetic field, because area vector is always perpendicular to the plane. Area vector is always perpendicular to the plane. Suppose if you take a coil like this, okay, if you take the direction of the magnetic field, the direction of the magnetic field and the plane are always parallel. But area vector of this coil, area vector of this coil is perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. Area is always normal to the plane of the coil. Okay, so that the coil experiences maximum torque. Fine. Then, as we know that this spring, there is a spring here, the spring is connected between the cylindrical iron core and the rectangular coil. Whenever the current is switched off, this spring brings the needle back to original position. When the coil rotates after passing the current, the coil rotates. An anti-torque is developed in the spring. So that anti-torque is directly proportional to angular deflection. So here, if it rotates like this, in the spring, anti-torque develops. That anti-torque brings the coil to the original position, or brings the needle to the original position. So, anti-torque developed in the spring is directly proportional to angular deflection. More the angular deflection, more the anti-torque develops in the spring. Or in other words, torque is equal to some constant into the angular deflection. Just like whenever we enter into the VIP chamber, we come across a push and pull door. When the door is pulled, when the door is opened, okay, after entering, the door will be automatically closed because an anti-torque will be developed in the hinges, and that anti-torque will make the door closes automatically. Similarly here also, when the current passes through the coil, there will be deflection. When the current is switched off, the pointer is brought back to zero due to this anti-torque. So anti-torque is equal to spring constant into angular deflection. Comparing this equation number 1 and equation number 2, we can write that K phi is equal to NIAB, or in other words, deflection per unit passage of current is equal to total number of turns in the coil, area of the coil, magnetic field divided by spring constant. K is known as here spring constant. That proportionality constant is taken as spring constant here. So this deflection per unit passage of current through the coil is known as current sensitivity of the moving coil galvanometer. So this current sensitivity depends on the number of turns in the rectangular coil. N is the total number of turns and A is the area of this coil, and B is the radial magnetic field strength. That magnetic field strength is concentrated here in order to increase the sensitivity of the galvanometer, or the radial magnetic field is chosen here so that always the plane of the coil is parallel to the magnetic field. Always it experiences maximum torque. Fine. If the number of turns in the coil is doubled, current sensitivity gets doubled. Or current sensitivity is inversely proportional to spring constant. Smaller the spring constant, larger would be the current sensitivity. That means even a small amount of current can be detected by using this moving coil galvanometer. Fine. Now let us get into the other important factor, That's about voltage sensitivity. What is that voltage sensitivity? Fine. Suppose if you divide this equation by V, that is K phi by V is equal to Ni AB by V. Okay? This phi by V is equal to N I by V is nothing but 1 by R. AB divided by R into this K here. Because current by voltage is reciprocal of resistance. So this is called the voltage sensitivity. Deflection per unit voltage is known as voltage sensitivity. And this voltage sensitivity, it also depends on the area of the coil, the strength of the magnetic field, and the spring constant. But it is independent of number of turns, because if N is doubled, R also will be doubled. So therefore, the voltage sensitivity remains same. In CBS exam, they always ask, what happens to current sensitivity and the voltage sensitivity of a moving coil galvanometer when the number of turns in the coil is doubled? When the number of turns in the coil is doubled, the current sensitivity gets doubled. If N becomes 2N, then phi by I becomes 2 phi by I. That means the current sensitivity will be like this. That is 2 times of the initial current sensitivity when N is doubled. But what about voltage sensitivity? When N is doubled, R also will be doubled, resistance also will be doubled. Resistance depends on N. If N doubled, R doubles. Therefore, the voltage sensitivity remains same. It won't change. Fine. This question will be always asked in CBSE. Fine. Then coming back to how do we convert the galvanometer into ammeter and voltmeter? Let us see that part. Yes. Now the topic is conversion of galvanometer to ammeter. Conversion of galvanometer to ammeter. What is ammeter? A device used to measure current. It's always connected in series with a circuit. Because in series connection, current at every point will be same. Therefore, ammeter is connected. So how do we convert galvanometer to ammeter? It's very simple. You connect one small resistance. That small resistance is also known as shunt resistance. SHUNT, shunt resistance, which is known as S here. Okay, so this is the current. This current is I here. Galvanometer draws the current of Ig. Remaining current here is I minus Ig. Again here it becomes I. How to find out S? What value of this small resistance is connected parallel to galvanometer so that galvanometer will become ammeter? Let us find out that value of S. How do we convert G to A? If a small resistance S connected parallel to the galvanometer, then the system becomes ammeter. As we know that potential difference across S and G. G is the resistance of galvanometer. S is the resistance of small resistance. They are parallel. Potential difference across two resistors is always same. V across G and V across S same. V means current into resistance. That is Ig into G. Here current into resistance. That is I minus Ig into S. How do you find out S? S is equal to Ig into Z divided by I minus Ig. Remember, this I is always greater than Ig. Ig is a very small current which passes through the galvanometer. That Ig will be, how much it will be in terms of milliampere or microampere. So therefore, S is equal to Ig into G divided by I minus Ig. This capital G is the resistance of galvanometer. Then how do you convert the galvanometer into voltmeter? That's very simple. If you connect one large resistance in series with the galvanometer, then galvanometer becomes voltmeter. Yeah. See the circuit here. The topic is galvanometer to voltmeter. We have a galvanometer whose resistance is G, and we have a large resistance of the range 8000 ohm, 9000 ohm, 10,000 ohm, 5000 ohm, 6000 ohms. Very large resistance. And this system is known as voltmeter. As we know that the potential difference across this combination, V is equal to potential difference across this plus potential difference across this. We know that the current passing through the galvanometer is Ig. So potential difference across the galvanometer is current into resistance. Potential difference across the resistor is current into resistance. As we know that the same current passes through galvanometer and resistors when they are connected in series. So how do we write? We write that Ig into R is equal to V minus Igg, or in other words, R is equal to V by Ig. Ig cancels, minus, that is G. So this completes the conversion of galvanometer to voltmeter. In CBSE, they ask numericals on the small resistance and the large resistance. Thank you.